What's going on, everybody? We are live again. You know what? I felt bad. You couldn't even hear the callers talk. It was on my end, obviously. My apologies to everyone that was a part of the live show. Couldn't hear anyone. So let's redo the broadcast, get everyone calling back in live, and so we can finally hear what the callers are saying and talk some Canes football. And I apologize once again. That was an error on my part and something I should have already had prepared for this show. And once again, man, we will reshoot a live. I want this show to be the best quality content for Miami Hurricanes football, or at least bring you guys and direct you guys to some of the best, content out there. So if you can't even hear the callers, then I'm failing my job as someone who talks Canes football on YouTube to present to you guys. So let's fix it and let's get in a new live call-in show with you guys. We need a linebacker and wide receiver. I 110% agree. No, I completely agree. Um, you know, I'm still completely surprised as to why we didn't take Jawan Mitchell. I don't understand that. Um, he wanted to commit to the program, and the Miami Hurricanes coaching staff, basically, you know, they didn't they didn't give him the green light. So I completely agree at the linebacker position, wide receiver play. If you're not going to take a linebacker, why are you going to take a if you're not going to take a linebacker, why are you going to take a wide receiver ultimately with Justin Jordan from Notre Dame? So that's just my opinion, um, you know, on that subject. But I wholeheartedly agree. We do need both. I think we need a defensive end as well, primarily. Linebacker, DN, I'll put wide receiver as the third priority. So, guys, call in 786 220 3279. Fix the audio. Let's get this thing up and running. Get you guys a new show. Want to hear the callers' kind of responses, your opinions, man? Let's do it, man. The last show was an A+ quality. I apologize on that, man. I'm trying to bring you guys good sound quality, be more professional on this live show, on this broadcast, trying to bring you guys some good quality to cover some Miami Hurricanes football, man. That's my job as someone who talks about the University of Miami football program, is to bring you guys some decent quality. So let's run it back, man. 786 220 3279. Let's talk some Canes football, guys. Thank you to everyone joining us tonight on the show. Henry, what's up, Paul? Need a linebacker. We are stacked at wide receiver. Look, I completely agree, guys. I think everyone, the heavy majority of people, I think everyone agrees we do need assistance at linebacker play. This is one of the weaker position units at the University of Miami I've seen in probably over a decade, in my opinion. But I'm just completely surprised as to Jawan Mitchell. He wanted to play at the University of Miami. He wanted to commit. Manny Diaz did not give him the green light ultimately, and I'm just surprised by that. I'm curious, who are we going after? Maybe this is a similar situation like we saw with Tyreek Stevenson, where maybe the players within the program are going out, reaching out to other players at other programs. Maybe they're locally from South Florida. Maybe they're heavily recruited by Miami in the past, have been on campus, and are asking, like, hey, are you happy at the University of Oregon, let's say? Are you happy at Wisconsin? Are you happy at UCLA? For example, do you want to come to Miami? And this could be a similar situation like we saw with Tyreek Stevenson, who never officially ended up in the transfer portal, and Miami came in and grabbed him 24 hours, I believe, after he entered the transfer portal. So we could be in a similar situation. That's all I'm saying. Let's be patient. Maybe Manny Diaz has his eyes on one key target, but we'll see. We'll find out. Ultimately, guys, we do need a linebacker to have a very complete defense, in my opinion, because right now, edge rushers, defensive end, and linebacker play, I think we need to be aggressive in that department. I think the skill set wise, we have at wide receiver is fine in ACC play. You have Charleston Rambo, you have Mike Harley. Those are your 1-2 punch right there in the wide receiver rotation. Then you have Xavier Restrepo, up and coming wide receiver, hasn't gotten a crazy amount of experience or playing time. It was his first year of college football. He'll grow a little bit, get better. He's shown flashes of a potential great wide receiver at the University of Miami throughout spring. Let's see what happens during the regular season. I know everyone's kind of off the D. Wiggins, Mark Pope hype train, bandwagon, whatever you want to call it. They're over it. They're moving on. They want to see younger guys come in. I thought Keyshawn Smith played exceptionally well in the spring game. So we'll see, man. I thought Dazzling Warsham held his own as well. How do you feel about FSU getting the IMG offensive tackle, 6'6", 280? Hey, I think that's a great get for Florida State. 4-star offensive lineman. But at the end of the day, you gotta maintain this class, and something that Miami has had an issue in is really having a lot of players early on in their recruiting class. Okay, and then losing them all towards the end of National Signing Day. They get a bunch of decommitments late in the process, and then they're scrambling for players they weren't really recruiting at all, and late in the process. So I mean, that's great for Florida State. Seems like a great get. Comes from a great, IMG. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a high school academy. They don't even play. They don't even compete for playoffs in Florida. They basically just get players from out of state to come on board. So you know, we'll see. I mean, Florida State, I would never count them out, Mike Norvell, but we'll see what happens with that program. It's a sticky situation. Les Aguilera, do you know if our starting five offensive linemen are set? Will we have a better running game this year? We have a stable of horse in the house. This is this here. Huh. Stable horse in the house this year. Look, I think our starting offensive linemen, we have a base. I think we have our starting five. You have center Corey Gaynor. You have left tackle Zion Nelson, who everyone is projecting as a first round pick. We'll see what happens. You have right guard Navon Donaldson, left guard Jalen Rivers, right tackle Jared Williams. So that's your strong base right there, and I think you can grow from that. Now, your second team depth wise, that's where our issue is. And I understand you don't want to switch out your offensive line kind of personnel throughout a game. You don't want to rotate them, in and out of drives because then they get colds. And that's something Jason Fox told me, who was second most in starts at the University of Miami. He was an offensive lineman who switched multiple positions throughout his career. And that's something I don't want to see at Miami anymore, is switching position. For example, I feel like that impacts the progression of players at offensive line. So hey, we'll see what happens. With our offensive line unit, but I think it's going to be a lot better. Our run game is going to be a lot better as well, and I'm expecting a big season from Zion Nelson and Navon Donaldson specifically. What's your least favorite college team? That is Penn State Nittany Lions. I can't stand them. I can't stand Notre Dame. I have respect for Florida State, and I'll leave it at that. Kyle, thank you so much for joining. And by the way, guys, if you want to call in, talk some Canes football, you want to talk recruiting, spring game, by all means, call in 786-220-3279. Let's run it back, man. The audio was done. Couldn't even hear the callers in, but let's get this ball rolling, man. Want to hear from you guys. Portal linebackers who are available. Listen, I don't know of any right now that are take at the University of Miami that are available. I'll be honest with you. I thought Jawan Mitchell was the take for this class. Obviously, University of Miami did not identify him as someone they would take, and that, hey, you got to trust the coaching staff. Hey, by all means, Manny Diaz, he is our head coach at the University of Miami. I'm going to trust his evaluation. He's our leader at the program. So if Manny Diaz doesn't give someone the green light, you got to trust him. He's done a great job in the transfer portal. He's had his misses. Your Tommy Kennedys, your Awesome Martins, your Tate Martells. Welcome to the Scoop on the U, man. Is this Deneric? What's going on, man? Please let me know, guys, if you guys can hear Deneric a lot better. Last show, they couldn't even hear the callers at all, man. So that was my fault. Okay, in my opinion, I feel like Will Mallory is going to be. It's just how we utilize him, man. Honestly, I think Will Mallory can be an athletic threat. In our pass game, I just feel like we don't utilize him that well. Yes. Thank you. Exactly. Exactly, man. I think he's going to get a lot more targets, and I'm very excited to see how he can play this upcoming season, man. After that, it's a big question mark, though, man. I don't know honestly who's going to step up. I know a lot of people are saying big things about um, Elijah Arroyo, Dominic Mammarelli. Say he's good at pass blocking. I don't know. I haven't seen any of these guys yet. Larry Hodges. There was an off the field incident where he couldn't participate throughout the spring. So you know exactly. Yeah. No, I think we're going to see more one tight end set. We're not going to see a lot of 12-man personnel. Absolutely, Deneric. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. All right. If it's very low, that's fine. Then I will audio's very low, then you know what? This is what I'll do, man. I'll bring you guys, you know what? If the audio's low, hop in backstage then. If you guys want to talk Canes football, come on the show, man. If the audio's low, you can't hear the caller, let's have a live show with people coming on backstage to talk some Canes football, man. Because you know what? I'm trying to give you guys the best content for Miami Hurricanes football, where I want to hear your opinions on the University of Miami's football program. So you know what? There's the StreamYard link. Come on backstage. Let's talk some Canes football, man. I want to invite you guys onto the show so we can. I want to hear your opinion. I want everyone else to hear your opinion as well, man. So thank you again to everyone who is joining the show, man. I greatly appreciate it. And by all means, come backstage. And thank you to everyone joining the show. Last show we had, a lot of great content was made. Same issue with audio. And thank you to everyone once again, man, coming on. I greatly appreciate it. Fairly last minute show, so I really do greatly appreciate it. Let's talk some Canes football. The UCanes, our recruiting right now is not doing any good compared to Florida and FSU. Look, we only have one quarterback committed right now. We only have one recruit overall. It's May. We're in May right now. I'm curious how we end up doing in recruiting after this big unofficial visit list June 1st. Look, I think Manny Diaz, what he's trying to identify here at the University of Miami. The issue at Miami has been losing a lot of recruits to other programs late in the recruiting process. They flip their commitment. I want to see a class stick without a lot of decommitments, and that's something we saw this past class. I think that's what Manny Diaz's goal is, being very selective, not taking the quantity of players, but the quality, and bringing in those players to the program. So I think that's what Manny Diaz's goal is. So I'm very curious, how that pans out. But I wouldn't be worried right now. I would wait until, June is a good assessment. I would say wait till late June or July. I would say wait until June or July. What is my take, Deneric, on King playing the Alabama game if healthy? Look, I think he'll be ready to go by July. That's what Manny Navarro said of the Athletic. He should be good to go. He's hitting benchmarks in rehab, according to Coach Manny Diaz. Ultimately, I think he'll be ready to go. I'm curious, tearing your ACL, there's different tiers of it, obviously, but I think he'll be fine. Quite honestly, I think he'll be fine, and I think I don't think the ACL tear was as bad as people thought it was per se, in the rehab. So I think he'll be 100% ready to go, and I think he's going to finish off his final year of college football pretty strong. So I'm excited to see what he can do in his last year of college football. Guys, by all means, if you want to join the show, I'm giving you the link. I got to fix the audio on. I'm probably not going to use Skype anymore. Going to be done with that. But by all means, join the show. Do I think James Williams will play against Alabama? I think he'll get some snaps. I don't think he's going to have a starting role. He'll get the majority of snaps, but I think he'll be rotated in a situational, kind of scenarios. I don't know where we're going to put him per se, in the starting lineup. I know people say they want him at linebacker, they want him at striker, they want him at safety. Some people are saying you can play him at defensive end. I don't know. I'm very curious where we're going to play him this upcoming season. We do have a lot of safeties. We have Cam Kitchens, Bubba Bolden, Gervin Hall. We just moved Amari Carter to striker, so that takes out one of the group. Then you have guys, Keyshawn Washington, Brian Balaam as well. So we have a lot of safeties at that position unit. So I'm curious how it all plays out for James Williams. I'll tell you what, he is a freak of an athlete, great player, and I think he's going to have a huge impact in college football. Wherever position you want to put him at, I would love to see him at safety. 6'5", or put him at linebacker. Ray Armstrong, similar measurements. Where is he playing in the NFL? He's playing linebacker. He's not playing safety. So hey, maybe linebacker is the appropriate position for him, especially this year. But then again, I'm not big into position switches as well. In college football, I feel like that's how players regress. I want to have players really stick to one position and lock in at that position their entire career. So, we'll see what happens overall, man. Our most loaded position is safety, by all means, hands down. Guys, if you want to hop on backstage, by all means, man, I'm giving you the opportunity, putting the link on this stream. Call in is it's not working today. I got to fix it on my own. It's been a hassle, um, you know, so I got to fix it. That's on me. Do I 4-1-6 defense? No, I like a 4-3 defense. I like Manny Diaz's old defensive scheme. I'm not honestly a fan of a 4-2-5 defense. I feel like that defensive scheme is primarily for a pass-heavy spread offense, and I feel like the ACC doesn't really tailor to that at times. And there's teams like UVA that play a fairly, play a wishbone offense. Ultimately, it's very gimmicky. I think we excel the most under a 4-3 defense. And I don't know why Manny Diaz was running that, or if it was Blake Baker, or why was it under his watch. I feel like Manny Diaz ultimately wants to have a bunch of athletes on the field that can play different positions, or can on the defensive side of the football. I think that's what he's trying to tailor to. I just think that takes away with the physicality at the linebacker position specifically. Where was that middle linebacker we had in quite some time at Miami? Your Denzel Perrymans, your Jonathan Vilmas, who you knew the hit stick was coming, man. So that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, no, you guys don't have to show your face. Just you can go audio. You are given that option, man, as well. If you guys want to talk Canes football, man, by all means, go for it. If not, it's gonna be me talking the entire time. So if you guys want to hear me talk some Canes football, man, by all means. We need a beast middle. That's something we've been missing, man. At Miami, like I said, under the Manny Diaz tenure, in my opinion, we haven't recruited the best at the linebacker position overall. Just my opinion, but we'll see. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm all for the 4-3 defensive scheme, man. I think hopefully we've seen flashes of it throughout this past season at the University of Miami. We'll see if we go back to it completely. Bob Shoop is coming aboard as well as defensive coordinator. So we'll see what happens. Dropping the StreamYard link, guys. You guys want to come on the show? Greatly appreciate it, man. Got someone connecting backstage right now. Talk some Canes football. Oh, got two people. What's going on? Broward Twin, what's going on, man?
Nothing. Nah, I just want to talk about the positions. Who you think should start around the defense?
Which position you want to start off at?
You can start from the D line on.
So defensive line, this is my projected starters. I think we're gonna see. I think, in my opinion, we're going to see at defensive end, you're going to see DeAndre Johnson, you're going to see Javari Harvey. At D tackle, you're going to see Nesta Silvera, and also perhaps Leonard Taylor or Jonathan Ford. At your linebacker position, let's say we run with two inside linebackers, you're going to see Bradley Jennings, and then you're going to see Corey Flagg. Then, as your striker per se, outside linebacker, I think Amari Carter gets the nod, or Gilbert Frierson will be rotating snaps because Manny Diaz loves playing veteran players. At your safeties, I think you're going to see Bubba Bolden, hopefully James Williams out there, or they'll probably give it to Gervin Hall some snaps. Cam Kitchens might as well sneak in there as well. I thought he's done great job this spring. I think it's been a very easy transition for him. Out in the boundary on the outside, I think you're going to see Tyreek Stevenson. I think Al Blades will get the starting role. I could be wrong, or Corey Couch. I think those are. I personally would like to see Corey Couch and Tyreek Stevenson on the outside.
That's good.
So, yeah.
I feel like Miami been missing that linebacker position for a minute.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I think it's been hurting under the Manny Diaz tenure. I'm trying to think under Mark. Well, Mark Rick, we had Shaq, Quarterman, and Mike Pinckney the entire time, and Zach McLeod per se. So wasn't this like it wasn't back to the elite years is what I'm getting to.
Yeah, like like the elite days we had, like the defense won't even compare to what it is now.
100%. I mean, Manny Diaz's early year, his second year at Miami, second or third year, I thought they had a pretty good defense. Overall, it was ranked in the
Mhm.
top 10. Defensive, usually Manny Diaz's defense does extremely well when the defensive line is really working, when they're doing a great job. That's when Manny Diaz's defense shines. I thought, was it 2018 when we played LSU in Dallas? I thought that was the most elite defensive line we had in Miami in quite some
Mhm.
time, just stat wise, number wise. Gerald Willis had a phenomenal final year of college football. So, I really think it starts with the defensive line, and that's when you're going to see his defense excel. I don't know if we have the strongest defensive line this upcoming season. Our interior defensive line is much better than years past, personnel wise. We have more depth. So.
Yeah, I think the interior. I think they should let just Nestor and Leonard Taylor just take that position over.
Nest, yeah, I mean Leonard Taylor. I mean, look, 5-star recruit. I don't see him playing defensive end. I know someone did mention that. Not someone. I think people were just in general were mentioning that. I don't see him as the defensive now, just with defensive end as a skill set. I think primarily he's going to be a defensive tackle. We need to stick him there if we want him to develop at the college level. So, man, I would love for Leonard Taylor to step up. Hey, Broward Twin, I'm going to let you go, man. I got someone else backstage. Hey, but I appreciate your time, man. Thank you so
Uh-huh.
much.
Thank
All right, man. Take
you.
care. All right. What's going on? We got the Jet 305 on with us now, man. How you doing?
Chilling, man, chilling. How you doing
Hey, what's
today?
good? What's good, Day, man? How you been, man?
Good, man. Good. Just chilling,
I
man.
know. Friday
Honestly,
night. Friday night.
yeah. Friday night in Miami. You know how it is.
Hey, man. Are you watching the Billy Joe Saunders fighting Canelo tomorrow?
I was probably gonna go to Flanny's with my boys. We'll see what we do.
All right. All right. Sounds good, man. So what's going on, man? Hit me with some Kane stuff.
Man, so one question I gotta ask, man, is you're like the voice of reason. So should people be tripping out since we only got one commit? I know honestly, I'm not really tripping out about it because man, I mean the dead period ain't even over with. You feel me? And then we got the barbecue June 1st. I
Yeah.
think in June we gonna have like 4 to 5 commitments.
I'll tell you
Honestly.
what. I'll tell you what, Dave made. I'll tell you what, man. If it's past June and July, and let's say we're in August and we still only have one commit, then I'd be like, hey, guys, let's talk about this a little bit. Like let June and July settle. Let's get into season. I think we'll have a couple more. I'm expecting Nigel Lee Kelly, Jordan Allen to be a couple players to look out for commitments, man. Not like a crystal ball or anything kind of goofy like that, but just I think those will probably be the next two to commit, man. And Wesley Bissainthe, I think we're in a great position with him, man. I really do.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, he's the crown jewel for me on the defensive side of the ball. Him and
Yeah,
Kamari Rogers, like
yeah.
mainly because of the need we have at the position.
And also too, man, we got the two edge rushers, I believe, defensive linemen out of Homestead Senior High School, man. Those should be easy grabs as well if the staff wants to take them. I know Dante Anderson, man. We should wrap him up easily. So
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I know a lot of people probably not gonna like it, but man, I'm not too high on him, bro. I think his defensive tackle buddy is better than him. Loins, I think
really,
Loins
okay.
is, yeah, man. I think Loins is the best, arguably the best defensive tackle down here, along with the Tabor kid from Deerfield. I think
Yeah,
they're both
Tabor's really good too.
yeah. I think
Tabor's
if you're
really good
gonna
too.
take two, you would want to take both of them. I also like that kid from Orlando. What's his name? Zane Durant. He's a little small, but I like his film. I
Yeah,
mean, look, we're gonna have plenty of options on the defensive line. I know everybody's all worried about getting the top four guys down here, which is Kenyatta, Shamar Stewart, Marvin Jones, and Kelly. But look, best case scenario, we're probably only gonna get two of the four. You feel me? I mean,
yeah.
you're just not like when you have highly rated guys like that from South Florida. You already know how it is. Like most of them, they gonna try to go out of state. But I don't think that people should automatically say, "Oh, we ain't got no chance with these people." Like, look, there's a season to be played. You feel me? And if we have a great year, you never know what can happen.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. And one thing I was just mad because Ohio State steals another great player, man. But I liked Ryan Turner a lot. I liked him a
Yeah,
lot, man.
I agree with you. And look, most of the guys they've been getting from down here lately, they've been balling. You feel me? I
Yeah,
mean, Sean Wade was a bit of a bust, but hey, if you think about it, if he would have left after last year, he might have been a first or second round pick. So that kind of hurt him coming back because he didn't have the type of year that a lot of people thought he was gonna have.
yeah, no, 100%, man. 100%. Ohio State, like you said, man, they don't miss a lot, man. The Boza brothers out of St. Thomas Aquinas, Trayvon Grimes ended up going to Florida, but I thought he could have been. I thought he would have been a good wide receiver there if he would have stuck with it, man. But they don't miss.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No,
man, I
yeah,
feel
man.
you.
But I mean, look, the DB class. I know a lot of people want Earl Little Jr. Honestly, for me, as long as we get Kamari Rogers and Jacoby Spells, I'm gonna be happy because those are two guys. You give T. Rob 3 years with those guys, and I think. I mean, look what he did with J.C. Horn. You know, he was like a low 3-star when he took him. And then
Yes.
even by the end of the class, he was a 4-star, but still, like people trying to say, oh, Bama was talking to Earl Little, saying, oh, you trying to be the next heritage corner. I mean, like, come on, man. What, you don't think T-Rob was in the cut with J.C. Horn during the draft? You seen him in the back. You feel
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. Do you think you think Earl Little is considering Miami? You think we're in play?
I think we're in play, but honestly, I don't know, man, because he might want to do his own thing, and I think his old man is kind of pushing him to just do his own thing. But look, if we have a great year in the corners, let's say Tyreek balls out and Ivy steps his game up, you don't think he's gonna notice that? I mean, sure, look, Pat Surtain, Pat Surtain could have gone to Wyoming and he probably still would have been a first round pick, man. That kid, he was born to play corner. So
Right.
I don't think I'm not gonna give. I give Bama credit, but I'm not gonna say, oh my gosh, what an accomplishment. Like, dude, like the kid was a stud even in high school. He was the number one corner for a reason. I think if you're a kid and you want to play DB, I understand if you go to Bama. But if you're from down here, man, like, I don't know. I feel like kids down here, they don't have the same pride that they used to have in wanting to, build up a program back. You feel me? Like back in the 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, look, in the late 90s, we weren't really like that. And then we started to build back up, and then everybody wanted to join the boat. So I think people just, they got to give Manny some time. I think this year you're going to see a big jump in the level of play in the team. And me personally, I'm thinking I'm alone in the boat with all my friends. Everybody thinks I'm crazy, but man, I'm feeling 11-1, man. I think it's definitely doable. And honestly, all we really got to do is average between, in my opinion, 36, 37 points per game. And I think we're going to be a top 25 defense. If you think about it, all 3 years that Manny Diaz was a defensive coordinator, we had a great defense. Now, there were a few games where, we weren't up to snuff, but for the most part, we were a top 30, top 20 defense. You feel me? I see no reason why, especially with Bob Shoop helping him out, I see no reason why we can't do the same thing again.
Hey man, that would be great. I hope we're aggressive, and I don't understand why we didn't take the linebacker from Texas. Unless we're waiting, unless we already have our guy in sight, he's already been targeted. We got our players talking to him. That's the only thing I could see. But I would take Jawan Mitchell, man, easily. I just don't understand it. Why? I just don't get it because you got to be aggressive, man. Linebacker play and defensive line. If you want to have an elite defense, Manny Diaz always a defensive line is always elite.
Yep. We've always had dudes ever since he's been here. His first year, we had Chad and Trent Harris. The year after that, we had Chad again. We had Joe Jackson, and we had a freshman, Jonathan Garvin. And then the year after that, we had a third-year Joe Jackson and a sophomore, Jonathan Garvin. And I remember Garvin's sophomore year, people thought he was going to be a beast going into his junior year, and it just didn't happen his junior year. But Manny's always had like good to elite defensive ends. And I think, a lot of people ain't really talking about him, but I think it's Jafari Harvey's year to really step up. He's learned the past 2 years under great defensive ends. He saw what Greg did. He saw what Jalen did. He even saw what Quincy did. You feel me? So if you're a good player, you're going to be able to learn from the people that were above you, and you're going to make yourself a better player. And I think honestly, our only hope really on a guy that could get like 8+ sacks this year is him, because I don't see anybody else in the room doing it this year. I think Chance Williams, I'm a big fan of him, but I think he probably needs one more year of getting his technique down, because physically they say he's ready. It's just he doesn't have a lot of moves. You feel me? He's still pretty raw as a pass rusher, so you can't really expect him to, put a lot of production in. For me, I think the guy has to be Harvey. He's big enough. He's strong enough now. It's his time to step up. You feel me? It's his third year. I think DeAndre Johnson is going to be solid. I could see him getting 6 to 7 sacks. But I think we need one pass rusher to really step up, and I think that has to be Harvey, man. Because if it's not, it's going to have to be that Harrison Hunt, Nesta, and hopefully Leonard Taylor. If the defensive tackle position can give us between, let's say, 10 to 15 sacks, that would alleviate a lot of the pressure on the defensive ends, in my opinion. And honestly, look, I heard some people saying, "Oh, Nesta could be a first-round pick." Look, man, Christian Barmore had a great senior year, and he didn't even go first round. You feel me? And you know what? NFL people love Bama players. You feel me?
Yeah, listen, man, I don't think listen, man, I think Nesta getting drafted would be a big accomplishment, man. I think it will have a good final season, man. But look, the only player I see going in the first round is Tyrique Stevenson. If you take him specifically as a nickel, that needs to be a defensive-minded head coach, defensive coordinator saying, "I want this guy as my nickel." That's it. That's the only way. I mean, I don't see any other player unless Charleston Rambo goes off. I mean, there was Pro Football Focus had Derek King, and I mean, they were everywhere with that.
That's crazy.
Emory Jones. It was. Look, man. I mean, Derek. I don't like Tyrique Stevenson is the only player I can see just as a specific nickel.
Well, for me, I mean, look, you seen McShay put Zion and Bubba. I could see Zion if he steps his level of play up again.
9 sacks this past season. 9 sacks this past season.
Yeah.
Man. I'm just a big believer. Like, you're playing in the ACC, you give up 9 sacks. Like, he needs a lot of work. I get the physical measurements are there. He's 6'5". He has everything. But 9 sacks, man, that's a lot.
Yeah, I feel you. Honestly, for me, I know a lot of people are like, they're big on the Bama game. But honestly, look, as a realistic fan, you can't go into it thinking, "Oh, it's a must win," because it's not a must win. But what you got to do, Manny Diaz cannot go out there and get bodied, man. It can't happen. I think that's the type of game where it can mess with the team's psychological, it can mess with us. You feel me? Because you saw what happened in the UNC game. After they got on us, we didn't even fight. We just went down, man. And that's at the crib. You feel me? Yeah. Like Bama, the squad has to go in there being like, you know what? You can't be intimidated, because that's another thing that Alabama does, man. You go on the other side of the field and you're like, damn, these guys are huge. You feel me? It can't be like that, man. Manny has to have these guys ready to go. And I personally believe it's going to be a good game. I'm not saying we're going to win, but I would be surprised if it's a double-digit loss. I think we could keep it 10 to 14 points, and I'll be really proud. And if that can happen, there's no excuse to lose to another team the rest of the schedule. I know that people are going to say, "Oh, UNC just bodied us." Look, UNC lost their two top leading rushers, their 2 top receivers. Now, yes, Sam Howell could be a top 5 pick. He's a stud. But you don't replace production like that just in like nothing. You feel me? I think that it's going to be tougher for UNC to replace what they lost compared to what we lost. And automatically for me, it's already time that we beat them. You feel me? Yeah. Manny, you can't keep losing to Mac Brown. Like, this guy should be in a retirement home somewhere, and he's going to keep schooling you? Come on, man. That's unacceptable, man.
Yeah, Manny Diaz cannot lose to UNC this upcoming season. I think that will hurt a lot. Look, I mean, 2 losses, you get 10 wins, win the bowl game. Okay, that is improvement. But if you don't win the ACC Coastal, man, you don't get over that North Carolina hump. I mean, look, Sam Howell's going to be leaving next year, but it's kind of like a repetitive thing, man. So you got to beat North Carolina, man. I agree.
Of course, man. That's good. That's gonna make or break the season. Honestly,
Yep.
you win that game, then you're gonna have the confidence to be able to run the table the rest of the way. And I'm gonna be honest. Even if we don't win the ACC championship, I would be really proud of winning the Coastal and winning our bowl game. That's what we got to do, man. We got to win our bowl game because I'm tired of losing. Man, what are we like 1-15 in our last bowl games,
Oh
or
my
like one and
God.
eight?
We
Like
beat
it's
West.
terrible, man.
We beat West Virginia in 2016, and then Reno, Nevada again. Well, we beat Nevada in the Bluegrass game in Boise,
It's
Idaho.
crazy, man.
Hey,
It's crazy, and there's so many missed opportunities. Like I'll always go back to thinking that even though we got the 8th ranked class in that 2018 class, it should have been so much better, man. You win that Pittsburgh game, you win that Orange Bowl, and you finish 12-1. That changes the. For me, we would have had a top 5 class, but you can't do anything about it now.
hey, Daymate, I appreciate you. I get coming backstage, joining the show, man. I got 2 more people on as well that want to come on the show, man. But I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Definitely,
All right,
definitely.
man. Peace. All right, man. Daymate, spitting that knowledge, baby. Deneric, what's going on, man? Welcome back.
How's it going?
Good, man. You're my guy tonight, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate your support, man.
Thank you for having me on. What's your take on the trenches up front, the O line? Said we got a lot of experience coming back. We got Zion at left tackle. We got Jalen Rivers at the guard. Corey Gain at center. Big
Yeah,
Navon Donaldson at right guard. And got Scaife for Jared Williams at right tackle.
I got Jared Williams over Scaife. I'm standing by
Cool
it.
with that.
Veteran
Right.
college football player, you got him, man. Scaife will be a good backup player this upcoming season.
So we could go like what 6-7 deep with the offensive line. We got a lot of experience coming back.
Okay. You said 6-7 deep. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I thought. Okay, yeah. We're still trying to develop that second team, man. That second team
Right.
still.
Yeah,
You know.
there's a big drop off.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of question marks. You got Ryan Rodriguez probably be our center. You got McLaughlin. You got Lawrence Seymour. We got to develop those guys as well, man. Your John Campbells, your Cleveland Reeds. I still need to see more playing time. I think it's fine in conference play against certain opponents, but I think once you get over to that North Carolina kind of range and your Clemsons, your Alabamas, that's when it becomes a question mark.
Yeah, I'm excited for Coach TVD and T-Rob, back there with the corners and
Oh.
secondary.
It's going to be much improved, man. I haven't been this confident in our defensive backs in quite a while, man.
Right. I think especially Ivy, his technique going to improve.
Yep.
You'll see that. Al Blaze and Couch, little feisty corner.
Don't forget about Dunson or Clark, too, man. Those guys are going to be ready to go.
Guys, they're good, too. And then also the incoming guys, they're good in the spring, too.
Oh, yeah. 100%, man. Deneric, I'm going to let you go because I had someone begging. I'm not begging, just wanting to come on. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, appreciate it, Deneric. All right. Dorian, I'm calling you out, man. You got to come on live. Say what you got to say, man. I know you privately messaged me. You wanted to come on the live show. Come on. It's your time. Drop the link. Click the link. And whoever else wants to come on the show, man, hit the link. Thank you. We got over 50 people joining us on the show, man. Greatly appreciated. Doing this live on a Friday night, 10:45 p.m., man, during the off season where it's dead. Nothing much to talk about. Literally making lemonade out of a lemon wedge, man. Just being real. So come on the show, man. Thank you for everyone who has been a part of this show so far. Put us all in the StreamYard. So what's going on? Got the comment section. Liberty City Kane, great show, Paul. I appreciate it, man. I'm trying to do I haven't been live on for a while, which is my fault. Just caught up with some things, but I appreciate it, man. Trying to get back into the live shows. It is the off season. There's not really much to talk about at times. Recruiting's going to heat up now. June 1st, we're having a long list of unofficial visits. Let's see what happens, man. And don't panic because we only have one person committed. Remember, Alabama around this time was ranked, I think, late in the 40s or 50s, and people were fairly giving them the same criticism. What's going on with Alabama recruiting, and they came back storming. So, let's just be patient. Let's see where we're at in August. I think one name to look out for is Nigel Kelly. Demario Tolan as well out of Dr. Phillips in Orlando. Wesley Besaint, I think that's going to be long in the process till we get him to commit to Miami, but I'm very confident Wesley Besaint will be a Miami Hurricane or Penn State. Look out for them as well. Travell Mullen is an interesting cornerback out of Coconut Creek High School, someone to look out for. I'm a big fan of Jacoby Spells. I think he's a elite player, man. 4-star recruit, holds offers from West Virginia, Syracuse, and Miami out of American Heritage Plantation in Broward. That's someone I would love for Miami to lock up. Honestly, Earl Little Jr., I know a lot of people have been talking about him, needs to be a priority. I don't know. I don't know if he'll be a Miami Hurricane, to be honest, guys. I can see him go to Alabama, per se, or another program. It is what it is. I think we will get a lot of great talent. It may be out of state though. Kamari Rogers, Jordan Allen as well, come to the University of Miami. And look, if you get these 4 corners at the cornerback position, Kamari Rogers, Jordan Allen, Jacoby Spells, and Travell Mullen, you take that as a win in this class. Those are 4 very good corners. You miss out on a guy like Ryan Turner and Earl Little Jr. But I'm telling you, those 4 corners, that's a pretty solid group of players you're bringing into your program. So that's going to provide a lot of depth. All right. Going through the comments section. If you guys want to join, man, you got the link right here. Join the show. Appreciate everyone that has been a part of the show. I know Dorian wanted to come on. Then haven't seen him since, but anybody wants to come on, man. 41 minutes in. Let's see who wants to come on the next 5 minutes. If not, we could call it a wrap, whatever you want to do. Love talking Canes football with everyone, man. What do I think about Zion going top 10 next year's draft? And I think this is something me and Dade did cover. And honestly, I mean, you gave up 9 sacks this past season. I understand he has the tools and skill sets a lot of NFL scouts have been drooling over, but let's give it another year, another complete season. Remember, during this time, Rousseau was going in the top 5. He ends up getting drafted late in the first round. Your draft stock, you're as good as your last at bat, I feel like, in the NFL draft. So, I think it's better to be projected later and work your way in instead of being projected in the top 5, top 10, because I think you can work your way out easier. But that's just my opinion. So I don't think Zion Nelson will be a top 5 pick. I hope he is. I mean, honestly, I wish him the best of luck, and I hope he is a top 5 pick, makes a lot of money. If I was a betting man, I don't think so. I don't think top 5, top 10, or first round, to be honest, unless he has a stellar junior year and he gets better. But I think 9 sacks this past season, you got to show me a lot more. Once again, guys, join the link, man. You want to talk some Canes football? I'm not doing a live call-in show anymore. I'll leave it at that, man, with the audio issues. We're just going to stick it to people coming on backstage and talking Canes football, if you want to. And that's just how we're going to roll it out, on this show. And I want to thank everyone, over the 50 people that were a part of this show, everyone from Deneric, Dade Made, anyone who I'm missing out on, man, who came on this show. I greatly appreciate it. Broward Twins, really do appreciate it. Joshua Alexander, should Brevin Jordan have came back? You know what? It's interesting because I don't think his draft stock would have improved if he did come back, to be honest. It would have been great for another year of college football. Anytime eyes open, I greatly appreciate it, man. It would have been great another year of college football, having him around the program, but his draft stock, I don't think it improves if he does come back. If he comes back to the program. Ultimately his profile, there's nothing elite that he brings to the table. He's 6'2" to 6'3". He doesn't have very athletic elite measurements like a Jimmy Graham or Rob Gronkowski, where those guys are freak athletes. They're 6'7", 6'8". Jimmy Graham was a former basketball player at the University of Miami. David Njoku is another great example. Those are freak athletes. He did lead college football yards after catch. I just think at the next level, you have to be elite. You have to be a mismatch, an X factor in matchups, and I don't think Brevin Jordan presents that situation. In goal line situations, you can't put him up for any fade routes, any jump balls. So, I just think Brevin Jordan, with his injury history, I think it just hurt him, and I think that was the appropriate place, 4th through 5th round. What do you think about the summer enrollees breaking rotation? I'll say this. James Williams, Leonard Taylor, those are two guys to look out for. I think they will break the starting lineup eventually throughout the season, get some snaps early on in the season, and eventually earn a starting role. No offensive line, no wins. I 110% agree. Look, it all starts with your offensive line. That is kind of your backbone of the offense. Unless you have a really freak athlete like a Johnny Manziel back there, Lamar Jackson, even a D'Eriq King who can make plays for you, you're going to need a good offensive line, to win the battle of the trenches. So we'll find out a lot against Alabama, a lot against North Carolina, Michigan State, how well our offensive line plays and improves. You guys want to jump backstage? Got the link in the comments section. 10:50 p.m. on a Friday night. Got 50 people on live with me, man. Greatly appreciate it. What's the keys stat needed for Miami to beat Alabama? Here's the first thing. You got to win the turnover battle. Okay, you need A+ performance at the quarterback position. On my podcast, the Believe in the U podcast, if you haven't, please subscribe. I just interviewed Stacy Blackwell. Okay, he covers Alabama Crimson Tide football. He stated, in order to beat Alabama, he's an Alabama fan, covers the team. In order to beat the Alabama Crimson Tide, you need to win the turnover battle, create turnovers, score points off of turnovers, and A+ quarterback performance. For example, Joe Burrow against Alabama, Johnny Manziel against Alabama. You need your quarterbacks to have a Heisman Trophy winning kind of highlight game to present themselves, why they should win the Heisman Trophy. And that's the type of performance you need to beat the Alabama Crimson Tide. So D'Eriq King, he's going to be under center, ready to go after rehab. He needs to put on a show. One for the history books. Kind of a similar performance he played against NC State, except this is going to be against the reigning national champs in a sold-out Atlanta Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Yeah, no, we have to win in the trenches as well. That's a great point because Alabama against Duke, I believe in 2018 when they played in a neutral site game, they were rotating their offensive line. They did not have an identity at all. They had a lot of underclassmen offensive line. They didn't have any name starters, honestly, and they were trying to find a rotation to get the offense gelled. And you know what? Duke hung in that football game. So if you win the battle of the trenches, you start confusing a young Bryce Young, young Bryce Young at the quarterback position. Hey, who knows? Miami could be in it and they could pull off a big upset. But hey, we have to play all 4 quarters of football. In Alabama, they will carry away throughout the game. In the fourth quarter, that's when they put on the pedal. Okay, that's when they go 110% and pull away from the opponents. But we'll see. Alabama has 2 to 3 deep offensive line, D-line, great quarterback athletes all over, and superb coaches. So when I was with the Alabama kind of contributor, covers the team, he said, hey, offensive line is their weakest point. Now, that could be your weakest position unit and still be elite at other conferences because at the end of the day, like you said, they're the Alabama Crimson Tide and they do rebuild and reload. So we're going to find out. We're going to see how good this offensive line is and stacks up against our D-line, how well our offensive line stacks up against their D-line. And, the game against Alabama will be a program evaluator. I'll leave it at that. Once again, guys, the link is in the comments section. If you want to join, by all means, join the show, man. Would love to hear your opinion on University of Miami football. If not, I will cut it a wrap on this Friday night. I appreciate everyone joining me on the fly, man. Just went live just to see if anybody would join. So I greatly appreciate it. The audio with the phone calls was not working, so I had people come on backstage. So hey, appreciate everyone who was a part of the show. Broward Twins, Dade Made, Deneric. Greatly appreciate it, guys. And always, all about the U. Go Canes.